Hello, traders. Let me know, guys, if you can see my screen and you can hear me. Meanwhile, I am over here making mistakes on my paper trader. Hey, Trader 77, how's it going, buddy? Hold on here. It's just been taking some profits on Tesla, but I messed up in my account here. It makes me mad because I not like to know what my open P&L is. But anyway, I sold too much, got short, had to cover. Anyway, just taking some profits real quick. Be right with you here. All right. Oh, that makes me mad when I do that because I really like to know this my closed and open P&L, but now I botched it. Hope I don't do it again. Okay. All right, guys. Hi, Brian. How are you, man? You're welcome, man. My pleasure. I actually enjoy one thing I've always enjoyed doing is mentoring other traders and then helping them all I can. Just something that I like to do. All right. So, guys, this is a support webinar. If you have any questions, just be sure to drop it in the YouTube chat there, and I will do my best to help you out. Uh, Meanwhile, we can talk about stocks. We can talk about the market. We can talk about, well, I'm not going to say anything you like because guys are animals. No. Hey, good afternoon, Charles. How are you from Nashville? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we have them all over the world. So the market lately, it just I came in to today about only, gosh, I'd say probably 25% invested. I just feels like we're a little bit toppy up here, having a hard time going forward. This is a time I think when you take profits, you pull back. Hey Vito, how you doing? All right, let's take a look real quick at the markets. Dive in here. I'm just gonna pull up the spies here. And yeah, we had this. I mean, basically, we've been kind of going sideways now for the better part of 2 weeks, where we have not been just kind of in a channel. If I drew, I don't need to draw it. You guys can see the tie there and the low. Uh, Take a look at the cues, probably the same exact thing. And yeah, you have a definitely have a kind of defined channel trying to hold on to this 20 period moving average, but we'll see. It's been a hard market to sell off, that's for sure. Yeah, I bought some of this rum thinking it might get some DJT sympathy. DJT had a nice run. They used to kind of run in sympathy with each other, but not feeling it. When you say link, are you trying, Vito? Are you trying to like? Are you linked with the IB or E Trade or something like that? Now, I yes, I just brokerage plus. You talking about in sim trade, paper trading? Yeah, I think there is a bug. Okay, we're gonna have another version coming out pretty soon. I know there's a little bug with the chart trading right now. So just bear with us. Hopefully, in the next week or two, we're gonna have a new version that'll have that fixed. But I don't want to try to troubleshoot it right now because I know there is a bug in the trade from chart. So just be patient. Yeah, yeah. We'll get that fixed, Vito. It's a bug. Because I remember when we first kind of redid this charts stuff, uh, we were experiencing some issues with it, and we come to the conclusion that there was a bug. Take a look at Pony. I hadn't looked at Pony in a while. Yeah, man, it's just I'd like to have seen that this morning. And you start, I got a alert down here. If it breaks, it's a nice little pivot level right here. So that's kind of the area I've been, waiting for it to come back to. Uh, Almost got it today, but not quite. Very strong chart. Yeah, they had earnings a while back. I wish some of that would rub off on WRD, but that WRD these bottoming processes are really, really hard. And and I feel like it's eventually going to go, but with China right now and the all the tariff news, man, I have this is only China stock I think I've traded in the last couple of weeks. It's just not a time to be. I did take advantage of that down drive in KWeb, bought a little bit this morning, but thought it was overextended on that news. I was hoping to get it a little bit better price. That's why I didn't buy very much. But uh, yeah, WRD. The fundamentals I'm hearing. It's a startup. I mean, it's an IPO, so a lot of these kind of things just take time. I think it probably eventually is going to go, but it's definitely taking its sweet time. I tell you, I can't tell you how many times I'm in it and uh, get that morning move, up around $12 and boy, it can't hold. So I'm light right now, but see if it can hold this, 10 period moving average. Yeah, there's nothing that was discouraging. I thought it would hold that 50 period moving average, and really, it can't do that. But this is I wasn't expecting today. As a matter of fact, in my video, just I was mentioning this morning in my Trader Eye video that yeah, not crazy about coming into today and looking to take more longs. Now I did scalp some stuff. This is when I may do some day trading. INOQ I caught down at a level, sold most of it, but I bought it right here, which potentially was looking like a reversal. Trying to think what else. AI I bought, but scalped half of it this morning because it came down and hit the 200, and I scalped half right around there, and then it got out the other half for a loser. Yeah, I think as far as Pony's probably the leader one in the China. They're obviously that chart's doing well. Now they've probably been around. Let's take a look at the monthly here. No, they're kind of a new one too. So they're definitely the strong one right now. But like the market the last couple of weeks, it's been in kind of a mess. Take a look at X. Yeah, X definitely after that huge move it had going back 5 days ago is definitely looking strong and seeing some action come in today. Scans. Good question, Jay. Scans for sideways markets. It's really, it depends on if you're like a day trader. It shouldn't bother. There's always going to be something moving out there, just kind of like that X taking off. Uh, but for I tend to look. I'm gonna pull up what I do in my. Let me see. I got some of 'em on my list today. Like this GoDaddy, for example. Yeah, I tend to look for stocks that are deeper. When it's a sideways market like this, I look for stocks that have pulled back. Now, this was on one of my scans in my Trader Eye homework, and you can see how it's pulled back. It's kind of holding this 50 and 200. Had an alert. I'm not sure what happened to it, but if it takes out that area, that's something I look for. It's difficult in these stocks that are trading sideways. Kind of like Amazon. It's just very choppy right now. Tesla, you can kind of throw it that in there too. It's gotten up here and it's kind of just back and forth. That's why I took a little bit of profits today. Uh, So that's what I do, and I can point that one out in my Trader Eyes homework, what I look for, and I think most of you have this. If you don't, let me know, and I'll be happy to share it again. But this scan on the bottom left, this is where I find stocks that have made me pulled back more and are above that 50-day moving average, like GoDaddy. Uh, see if we can find some examples today. There's another one having a decent day, but it's pulled back. Boy, that's Calmaine. I'm not sure why I didn't see that one today, but that's a beautiful. That's what I call a setup bar right there. You've pulled back. You tried to sell off below this 50. You bounced up. Now you have your setup bar. You buy it when it takes out the high of that setup bar. I talked about this on Trader TV yesterday, and it's a really simple strategy. You use that low of that bar as your stop. This Orla looks kind of sweet there, but not a pullback one. Document. Now these are ones that I like to let them set up. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to these during the day because I like the way to see how they close. And looking at some other example would be, I think I had some more in here today. Uh, was that one of them? Yeah, that was kind of one of them. You had now it went right through this morning and pulled back. Geez, rum. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, check out that scan because that's where you can find the ones that have pulled back more. Hold on just one sec, guys. I got a text from my daughter that I have to answer. And now the market's kind of getting a little weak here. Well, you can just go look on the just Google Trader TV and look for the live broadcast. Yeah, you can just Google it. You can find it easy. Yeah, Jay. It anytime the market, gets kind of overextended a little bit. It's had a nice run, and all you got to do is look at the spies here, and we've had uh, from the bottom down here, 512 all the way up to the 590. That's a big run, and we got toppy right here, sold off, tried to go back and take out that highs. Now we're having some trouble. So what will happen is the bulls, kind of like myself, they get a little nervous. They start selling some stock, buying some puts or whatever. But yeah, this is when, like down here, boom. I may be heavy, and but boy, once you get up here, I see no reason to be fully loaded and heavy. I sold some Amazon this morning too, as well. I got very fortunate the other day on Amazon when that news came out. I happened to be looking at my computer. Just got back from working out, sat down. I was like, "Whoa!" Amazon ran from like 205 to 212 on that. I knew that news wouldn't last, so yeah, I sold half. I wish I'd have sold more. All right, Charles. I do have a halt scanner. Let me see. I take it is based upon gaps for stops and resume. It's based upon if a stock is halted or not. Yeah, it has nothing to do with gaps or anything like that. It's only if a stock is is halted. And yeah, it can be for a number of reasons, some of which you mentioned. Uh, it won't halt just because relative volume's high, but it will halt based upon movement. Basically, obviously, if there's news pending and they request a halt, yeah, I can see that. But most of it has to do with uh, a percentage move in any given time. I can't remember the exact formula, but it's probably like 10% in a 1 minute, 2 minute time period. I'm not sure. I can't remember the exact uh, time frame. But if you'd like it, I can share it with you. Okay, two separate questions. Okay. Oh, I see. I see now. How can I scan for catalyst move like news, PDF, FTP pay? Well, you're not going to be able to scan for news, okay? But what we like to you know hang our hat on. Let me hold on to sell some rum. Sorry, guys. When it gets like this, I just gotta. It's a dumb trade. Uh, so basically, by watching the volume, by building a scanner that's searching for quick moves is probably your best bet. Okay, because honestly, you're gonna catch that before any. I mean, the news reading robots are gonna cause the price action to move on that news way before you're gonna get any information. You know, on stuff like that. So really, Charles, you can't. I mean, we don't have anything that searches for news. Now, your broker should have a like a news panel that's probably tied to Bloomberg, so you could probably or something like that, one of the fast ones where you can get news like that. But honestly, I've been doing this, for 28 years, and you're never. And we used to have guys in our squawk boxes in our office where that would just spit out news, and every time you'd looked, the stock had already gone, and that was 25 years ago. So you're you know you're not going to beat the insiders and the algos, but these scanners in real time are going to pick it up, basically at the same time because when they're picking it up, the stock's moving. It's going to come through your scanner in real time. You're welcome. Oh, that's interesting, Vito, about E-Trade. We haven't been seeing too many complaints about E-Trade. As a matter of fact, Dan, our CEO, is doing the money machine, and E-Trade. He said, "Man, everything's been smooth, quick execution." So I'm not sure what you mean when it's stuck in queue. So it's a cancel thing. Well, that should be on E-Trade's end, right? Because we have nothing to do with uh, with the execution of a cancel order. Yeah, you might want to check with E-Trade on that because we just have our API just talks to their right. So obviously the order is being hung up on there. We just hmm. Okay, maybe if you can get some screenshots or maybe a video or something like that and send it to us. Yeah, send it to us. Okay, I'm almost certain it's going to be an E-Trade thing. Well, might as well sell. So you're gonna have to sell the rest of this IONQ. Me and Steve always get tickled how we always it always comes in the market crashes when you're in a webinar. But you know what? When you've had a nice run, and I've had a really nice run the last couple of months, so I'm not gonna sit here and sit through too much pain. That's for sure. And a good thing I didn't, like I said, I didn't come in with a lot today. Woo! Kind of an ugly bar there. Okay, that's gone. Ooh, K-Web at Lowe's. Oh, some news come out? Guys, got my trigger there and wait a minute, I think I may have had a bid on that. K-Web. Nope. Yeah, everything is selling off right now. Pepe saying Fed Bostic was speaking at 12:20. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna panic out of the rest, but and I'm glad I did sell some Tesla, that's for sure. No, we don't, Vito. You can get those from your broker. You can get level two from your broker. All right, let's take a look around. Yeah, it's kind of in a no man's land right here. Speak cues. Donkey Kong, I thought you may make some noise today, but no. And Tesla's getting close to at 10. No one's seeing news out there. This looks more than just a midday kind of sell off. Maybe not. Bitcoin going to lows, getting close to that 20 period moving average. Well, if there's no news, I'm going to be looking for some opportunity here pretty soon. Yeah, we did run out of steam, that's for sure. But this is like a locomotive move. Where's that gap filling? Okay, well, this could be overdone. 43. It's got there. All right, take a look. PLTR. Yeah, well, I got to fix my. This would be the 20. Obviously, broke the 10. That's the 20 period on the 15-minute chart. I'd like to look when I'm looking for areas to buy uh, on the daily. And yesterday's high was, yep, 126.47. So came down to, yep, 126. So that would probably be a good area. 64. BBA high was a strong one this morning, but now it's kind of giving it up too. Tesla is continuing to sell off and it is hitting its, let me move that, 374.84 is the 10 period moving average in Tesla for those that may be interested. Might just have to buy a little there if it gets there. It's got 40 cents from it. Yeah, I would honestly, I wouldn't mind more of a sell-off just because I'm not in a whole lot. Like I said, I'm probably 25% invested and I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I see what you're looking at. The 20, big old wick there in the spies now. Oh, gee, I just don't know if I want to mess with anything. ES was on my. This is where money, when you start selling off, money will start flowing into some of these like utilities, electric power distribution. That was on my list today. Nice little flag pattern there. Bring over the big boys. Take a look here. I tried to get off a hedge short today in this. I mean, this AMD, but I just barely missed it. Still think Tesla may want that number. See, I got a lot of alerts in this thing. Oh, 347.83. Yeah, 2 cents. I guess that's good enough. Be interesting to watch if we do get a sell off in the market. Keep an eye on Apple. That for some reason that thing's all the money goes into Apple for whatever reason. When the market starts, yeah, not like we're seeing right now. I'm talking about if we roll over and break out of this range to the downside. Well, that was a disappointing. Now, Pat, that is ridiculous. Okay, you sold off, but in that move, you held on. So you just want to close right here at 13, I guess. Because I caught the bottom, like the very bottom of that initial move, and I should have scalped some out, but I just didn't have very much at all. I just had a tiny bit in there and got hit at the very bottom. I was like, oh boy, reverse. I mean, I got out for a small loser, but it's like it's funny that all that weakness in that, and then on that move right there, it just held solid. But tell me to watch. I mean, I've seen stocks like this, and a lot of them, like in this ARC sector, they'll have earnings. I shouldn't say a lot of, but it's not unusual just to like sell off and then the next day turn around and just basically reverse that whole bar. I thought the earnings were impressive, but that's why you don't make trades just based off all fundamentals. You want the technicals to confirm your belief here. Let's see. Would you like the for the daily on SPY to hold the 29 day? 29 day? Now I'm more of the I keep it simple. I got the 10, 20, the 200 and the 50. I mean, right now, obviously we're just right in the middle of no man's land. I mean, basically where we were back on the 12th. So, you know, over half a month, and we're really just in the same spot. So it makes it tough. There's been definitely been some opportunities, but okay, yeah, okay, okay, Jay. Uh, yeah, I see you put that underneath there. Sorry about that. I missed it. Yeah, I do. I would. Steve refers to it as the backstop. When the 10 doesn't hold, that's the backstop. Obviously, we don't hold. We're going to go down and test that 200 day again. A break below that, and all bets are off. But uh, yeah, we're kind of like no man's. This is why I may look at certain stocks like I was looking at Tesla just in for possible bounce, but as far as the market goes, we're kind of stopping right here in no man's land on some pretty decent volume bars in those last two bars. So I'm not that encouraged to go jump in and start buying things. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of looking for bounces maybe to get out of some more stuff, even though I don't have a lot, because I do feel like we're going to possibly get that 20 today. Now, where I would probably be looking is some of the stuff getting hammered off what potentially is uh tariff news that won't come true, like KWeb. I got a bid in right now at 45. I missed that, but I got a bid in it if it comes back down at 45 on that KWeb, just because I think it's definitely overdone. And I do like the support. You got a nice little pivot line here, and that's a gap fill. So did not quite get it. So yeah, I did. It did get it. I take that back. Boy, that bar didn't look like 39, did it? But it did. We'll see. It's been a stubborn market lately, though. There have definitely been some buyers in here, but I just don't like technically where we are. To be bottom fishing because we're kind of right now. If we would have slammed down and hit that 20, then maybe I would be more inclined to maybe look for some nice bounces and some stuff that got beaten up. Yeah, what do you? I still have an order standing from this morning on that IONQ at this pivot level right here. I scalped out that first move, but boy, if it wants to get ugly and come down there, I would definitely like it. Let's take a look at the cues. Yeah, same thing with the cues. Gosh, it just seems like we may have a date, with that 20 period. And I will use, stuff like this when the averages are kind of in no man's land and you got like some volume coming in and out and it's heading in the right direction. They typically will want to go. Now, this is not huge, huge volume, but uh, if they get a head of steam going, they'll continue to head in that direction until you run into some sort of support. And so that will motivate me to get out of more positions. And as I speak, we are headed down in that direction. And I don't like where rum is, so I'm probably gonna just put it quick. Yeah, cut that rum. That was a dumb trade. Now, his Qs are trying to go to lows. Tesla's trying to go to lows and already did. And if that Donkey Kong breaks 35, I'm going to sell half again. It's been holding up well in these little down moves, but GFII, that's a kind of a Singapore robotics company. They actually have earnings. It was one that had some nice moves to it. You can see I took some profits on this thing, but I reloaded today and down a little bit. But yeah, that's one I got an eye on as well. Okay, sold half of my Donkey Kong. Amazon's coming to a level of support at 200 day. Let's take a look at Tesla now. It is trying to break that. Not a whole lot if it breaks, this level. You got a gap fill back here, but I don't know, boy. It just seems like a lot of people want to be in Tesla lately. I don't know. Let's see if it gets there or not. But Glad I sold some. Well, the sound, it's in no man's land either. It looks like it wants to come down to the 200 day. And PLTR did break it. They'll eventually succumb to the tape. That's why I always kind of keep the market backdrop. You can't, obviously, if we're kind of in a sideways market and you get that pullback in that PLTR, it's like, wow, that's maybe a great place to enter. But boy, it's a different story when you got massive selling going on across the board. I tend to stay away from oversold, overbought. Some people use some RSI stuff, or there's some other ones out there, but I've learned that those things can stay overbought and oversold for a very long time. So I try not to. I try to stick to the simple stuff, like moving averages. Uh, Now this PLTR just came down to the 10, just 124.12, and trying to break that, see if that can hold. But I tell you, it's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. Just good old fashioned, moving averages. And just keeping it simple. That's why I don't want to be trying to play a bounce right now. Like I was mentioning, we're just in no man's land, and when I see that, it just tells me we can go much lower until we find a level of buyers. Where it's going to, and that's either going to be a trend line. I do like trend lines, and I'm a big. We draw a trend line. I don't know if this. So we're hanging on to it, but we'll see. It's a pretty steep trend line, so that's the kind of move we've had, over the last, what is it, a month, and basically this all happened really basically in a month, and everything else since then, the last 2 weeks have just been waffling back and forth. No, no, I've never cared for MACD. Jay, it's just one of those kind of things. I played around with it, and I played around with some other stuff, and I'm going like, wait a minute, man. Because I know trading is 90% psychological, and so I don't want to fill my mind. It's already tough enough to try to conquer the psychological aspect of trading, to then just to inundate my mind with a bunch of technical indicators all over the place. That's why I try to just look price action, support resistance, moving averages, and trend lines, and that's basically the gist of it. Now you see that K Web was what I was talking about. This is the kind of stuff I'm looking to play for bounce. It's getting, it's down 3.5%, and you see the market rolled over and went to lows, but this K Web, didn't even. So this is something that, that I would be looking to play for a bounce, and uh, I'm hoping it wants to go back down and tag that line again, so I can buy some more. But I just feel like if there's a bounce, this has met, unlike the SPY, this has met an area of major support, in my opinion. And you can see that the trend line, it's a pretty obvious trend line and a gap fill. So that's the kind of stuff I'd be looking at. Now, it would just be for a scalp. I with all the tariff news, I'm not going to hold a bunch of KWeb out overnight. I mean, the Qs are putting in a few wicks down here, but once again, we're just kind of in no man's land. I just don't know if I can trust it. Let's see what the SPY's doing. Same thing, trying to make a wish fishbone type thing, but to me, that's a bear flag. Doesn't mean we can't. I mean, that does not mean we can't bounce for sure. Don't. I'm not etching anything in stone. I'm not gonna get heavy short right now, but I'm just not comfortable enough to try to play anything. All right, guys. Yeah, I think the SPY's trying. That about wraps it up for today. Uh, Keep it tight. I yeah, uh, we could see a little bounce here if you're so inclined, but once again, for me, I would rather see us at a critical juncture, just a place where I could have faith in a bounce than right here. But listen, have a great weekend. Keep it tight out there, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye bye.